Hey, great afternoon, everybody. Come on in the room. Say hello as you're coming in. Happy Tuesday to each and every one of you. Happy Tuesday. Gonna wait for a few people to come on. I'm going to share this page. Hope you will like and share as well. Happy Tuesday. Hey, Miss Val, how are you? Hope everyone has had an amazing day thus far. Great afternoon. Hey, everybody. Hey. Happy Tuesday to each and every one of you. You know what today is. It is Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. I am Dr. Shavonna Whitehead, and it's always my privilege, my honor, and my pleasure to come and hop. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Janella. Hey, Danielle. Hey, Gerald. Marnay. How's everybody doing today? Listen, we came out the gate strong. Najee, hi, how are you? We came out the gate strong last week about expectations, and a lot of the things that we covered was the expectations of people. Hey, Tamika, how are you? We covered the expectations of people. But today, I told you we had to do a part two because we need to deal with the expectation of ourselves. We need to deal with the expectation of ourselves because here's the thing, and I'm starting strong. Some of us, our expectations have gotten in the way of our happiness. I'll say it again. Our expectations have gotten in the way of our true happiness. I'll say it one more time. Our expectations have gotten in the way of our true happiness. Sometimes we have placed a level of expectation on us because someone told us we had to do things a certain way. Someone told us that we had to walk a certain line. Someone told us that we had to live a certain way. Someone told us we had to be with a certain person. Someone told us we had to do the job. And right off the bat, you have to realize that the expectation you placed on yourself is sometimes misplaced. And you want to know why your happiness is being diminished. You want to know why you're struggling. You want to know why you can't seem to find your niche. You want to know why it is that you just can't seem to find that thing that makes you happy. We have allowed expectations that other people have infused into our thought process to be the expectation of what we're going to do. And sometimes those expectations are unrealistic. I'm not talking about faith right now. I'm not talking about faith right now. I am talking about some of the unrealistic expectations that we have placed on ourselves. Case in point, you're expecting yourself to flourish, in the hair care industry, that you're going to be a stylist, but you honestly don't even like to work with people. But because they said you were gifted in that area, you have now sought out to expect to thrive in the cosmetology field, but that was never the field designed for you, because there's a difference between my skill and my gift and what I am destined to do. There's a difference between my skill and my gift and what I'm destined to do. There's a lot of things I'm skillful in areas. There's a lot of things that I'm gifted to do, but I have to actually, when I start talking about expectation and what I expect Shavonna to walk in, I have to expect Shavonna to walk in what has been ordained for her life. All the extra stuff is on the sideline. All the extra stuff is the extra goodies, as I call them. All the extra stuff is what I can come, I can build off of. That's some extra stuff that I can toggle with. But some of the expectations we have on ourselves, we're blaming other people for our happiness, but we've misplaced our own expectations. Some of you got in relationships, got in marriages, got in friendships, and you're expecting them to give you the love you want. You're expecting them to give you the respect that you deserve. You're expecting for them to treat you the way you deserve to be treated. You're expecting for them to acknowledge your value and your worth. But the truth of the matter is, we have placed an expectation on people and want them to be something for us. But guess what? We were never designed to be connected to them in the first place. So we're saying you got to stay. Now you're talking to yourself and saying, I got to be there for the good and the bad. I can't just abandon ship. So you're putting an expectation on yourself to endure something that you were never supposed to endure. You placed a level of expectation on yourself to endure something that God never gave you to endure. You're expecting yourself to endure a storm that you were never supposed to be in. You're expecting yourself to endure a connection that you were never supposed to make. Then there's a flip side to this. There's also a level of expectation that all of us, because I'm going to say all of us, we have to release this expectation that we are super beings. We're not the Marvel characters. We gotta disband this expectation that I have to be this super being. So I have to be strong at all times. Yeah, I'm talking to all of y'all. Some of y'all have put the expectation on yourselves. I can't cry. I can't back. I gotta stand strong. I gotta put on face. I gotta show them how I can square my shoulders. I gotta show them that I can make everything right. I gotta show them. And here's the problem. The problem of it is that you are not even allowing yourself the part of the journey that actually breeds the most. Some of my greatest success came when I fell. Some of my greatest success came when I faced the fact that I got failures. Some of my greatest success came when I realized that my flaws do not hinder me. My flaws fueled me. But because I was trying to be this super being, because I was trying to be all things to all people, because I was trying to make sure, don't let them see you cry, square your shoulders, keep pushing, I left myself in a deficit. And guess what? What I tell y'all last week, I am now having to deal with something that happened 9 years ago because I thought I had to be strong. I thought I had to do it this way. I thought because I was the preacher's kid, because I was the elder, because I was the woman of God, because I was the one that people depended on, I couldn't fall apart. Who said that? Who said that? Expectation. You're expecting yourself to walk this line that God never expected you to do. How in the world can you always be strong, but then his word says, when I am weak, he is made strong? If I am always strong, I'm saying I don't need him to be weak. I don't need him to be strong. But his strength shows up in my weakness. So what am I trying to say to some of y'all? It's okay to have a weak moment. That's when you go before the Father and say, I am weak. I need your strength. It is okay to admit that this valley experience is wearing me out. It is okay to admit they hurt me. My heart is shattered and I'm broken. Now, let me put a pin note here. I'm not saying go and bleed all over the place. So let me help y'all. I'm not saying go bleed all over social media. I'm not saying go call everybody and tell them everything that's wrong with you. I'm not saying go tell everybody your business. What I'm saying is find that confidant that you can be vulnerable with and release yourself from the expectation that you got to keep it all together. God will partner you up with someone that can be your safe haven where you can release so that you're not carrying. Because here, if you keep acting like you always have it together and you never release, eventually you're going to break. Eventually you're going to break. Expectations, okay? Expectations. So how do you manage your expectations? I got some stuff for you. I like to always give some takeaways because, listen, God got me together too. The first thing you have to do is ask yourself, what am I expecting from what I'm in? Good or bad? What am I honestly expecting from what I'm in? This situation that I'm in, what am I expecting from it? And be honest. Here, this H word, honest. This H word. I know it's a cuss word. Honest. Be honest with yourself about what you are expecting from this situation. Not what they said you should expect. Be honest with yourself about what you are expecting from the situation that you are in, or from the connection that you are in. The second thing you do, you then have to remind yourself, this is a heavy one. Sometimes you got to remind yourself that everything you see ain't real. Because why do you say that, Dr. Vaughn? Because sometimes when we're setting our expectations from what we're going through, sometimes we are setting those expectations based off of what we see in somebody else. Social media ain't always true. I had to bend it. Social media ain't always true. Everything that you see is not fact. Some people put on a good facade. Everything you see is not real. So sometimes you got to stop basing your expectations based off of what you see. Some of y'all are beating yourselves up because you're seeing how somebody else, it looks like they're doing good, or looks like they're going, but you don't know the backdrop. You don't know when they log off or when they're not taking pictures what it really looks like. You have no clue. Then you got to learn how to look for the positives in what you already have. Oh, God. You have to learn how to look at the positives of what you already have. You are out here expecting for God to give you this abundance. You want this increase, overflow, and more than enough. You want God to just knock the wind out of you and just overflow you with money and riches. And you want you want all of this stuff from God. But when is the last time you actually just sat and realized the positiveness in what you already have? The positiveness in what you already possess, what you already have. Then you have to learn how to stop beating yourself up when something doesn't work. This is a hard one. Stop beating yourself up when something doesn't work. Stop beating yourself up when something doesn't work. Everything is not going to work 100% of the time. There are some things that's just not going to work. But instead of you beating yourself up, the only reason why you beat yourself up is because you place an expectation on you to always get it right. You place an expectation on yourself to always measure up. You place an expectation on yourself to be perfect. But if you realize that there is some leeway, give yourself some grace that, listen, I tried it. It just didn't work. Okay, I tried it. I tried that business venture. It didn't work. So instead of beating myself up, I step back, release, refresh, and resume. Release, refresh, and resume. Release, refresh, and resume. Release, refresh, and resume. It's okay. Most of the millionaires didn't get it right the day one. Come on. Most of the successful people didn't get it right day one, but they don't tell you the whole backdrop of how many times they failed before they got it right. They do not tell you how many times they failed before they got it right. So what? The relationship didn't work. You got divorced. Listen, release, refresh, and resume. So what? The business didn't work out. Release, refresh, and resume. So what? The friendship you thought was going to be a lifetime and now it's falling apart. Release, refresh, and resume. So what? You thought you were going to be at that church until the day you died. Release, refresh, and resume. So what? You thought you were going to retire from that job and then you got laid off. Release, refresh, and resume. So what? You thought you was going to live in that house for forever and things change. Release, refresh, and resume. You have to give yourself enough grace and release this expectation that everything is always going to be perfect. It's not. And so somebody just needs to type in the comments, I release myself from unrealistic expectations. Because that's what I told myself this morning. I release myself from unrealistic expectations. I release myself from unrealistic expectations. I release myself from unrealistic expectations. I can't nobody else do it for me. I release myself from unrealistic expectations. Whatever you got, whatever expectations you got on me, that you got to deal with that. That don't have nothing to do with me. But I release myself from unrealistic expectations. Whatever your opinion is, whatever your expectation is, that's between you and God. But I release myself from unrealistic expectation. And I give myself enough grace that whatever situation I am in, if it doesn't work, I'm not going to get all bent out. You know, of course, I'm in my flesh. I may cry. I may hurt. It may bother me, but I'm not going to stay there. Eventually, I'm going to shake myself. I'm going to release it. I'm going to refresh myself, and I'm going to get back. I'm going to resume. I'm going to release. I'm going to refresh, and I'm going to resume. I am going to release, I'm going to refresh, and I'm going to resume. That's right, y'all. Type it. I release myself from unrealistic expectations. Because here's the thing. If I release myself from the unrealistic expectations, then I have a way to actually embrace the fullness of happiness. Happiness does not mean that everything's going to be perfect. But happiness means that what I'm going through does not determine whether or not I'm happy. I'm happy because I'm alive. I'm happy because I got breath in my body. I'm happy because I got another chance. Even if it messes up, I got another chance to get it right. I am happy just with me. Materialistic stuff don't make me happy. So if stuff doesn't work out, my happiness is not in jeopardy because I placed an expectation that was unrealistic that knocked the wind out of me. That's all I came on, y'all. Expectations versus reality. Expectations versus reality. And sometimes we try to press down and compound expectations and faith. Expectations and faith are two different things. There is a spirit of expectancy. There is a spirit of expectancy, but you have to check your expectations to see if they line up with the will of God, first of all. And then you have to actually check and your expectation or whether or not that God is even speaking that in your atmosphere. And then whether or not the expectation you have, you can't put faith on something that you know was never designed for you. It ain't coming. You can expect it all you want to. It ain't coming. Because that's not what God wants for you. So stop being angry. Okay, for some of you ladies, stop being angry because the boo thing that you like, he ain't never measured up and he ain't called you. Well, he was never for you in the first place. He wasn't supposed to. So let that go. Release, refresh, and resume. That sister girl, you've been giving your all to her. Y'all been best friends and she still ain't never did a portion of what you've done for her. Release, refresh, and resume. It's okay. It's okay. And so that's what I hopped on the chat with y'all about today for Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. Listen, I appreciate you all. I celebrate each and every one of you. And I just thank you for coming to hang out with me. And listen, I am announcing to you, you guys always kind of hear it first right over here. And so listen, I hope that you have subscribed down there to my website, www.shavonnawhitehead.com. I hope you are following me on social media, Instagram, I am Dr. Vaughn, Facebook, She's More Now. I hope that you are following me because guess what? Next week, we launch our new newsletter that will be coming out, and that will be our bi-weekly newsletter where you'll actually have something in print from me every 2 weeks that will empower you, that will strengthen you, that you will have it tangible. You can go back and read it. You can share with your friends at work and everything. So I hope that hey, Takia, how are you? I hope that you will make sure you head over to the website and subscribe. The newsletter is coming out next week. It is called the Phoenix Newsletter. It is called the Phoenix Newsletter, and I'm super excited. Y'all, guess what? March makes it 2 years that we have been doing Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. Wow. March makes 2 whole years. And look, my girl Takiyah's on here. Takiyah, we gonna party. I'm gonna put on one of my good lips I got from you. We gonna party. We gonna celebrate. I'm gonna do a virtual thing, but we're gonna be celebrating 2 years of Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. That's major to me because guess what, y'all? We talk about expectations. When I started out, I didn't even expect to be doing this every week. I literally started out just to share my thoughts with a few people. And now we are 2 years later, and we've been on here every week, with the exception of a couple of weeks. But every week we've been on here. So I celebrate you. So listen, make sure, right down there. See down there? ShavonnaWhitehead.com. Go over, subscribe. Make sure you're connected to me on Instagram. I am Dr. Vaughn. Make sure you're connected to me on Facebook. She's More Now, as well as Shavonna Whitehead. Stay connected to me. Listen, God is doing something. So come on, journey with me as we flow through it. I celebrate you. I honor you. But most of all, release yourself from unrealistic expectations and allow your happiness to flourish. Release yourself from unrealistic expectations and just allow your happiness to flourish. I hope you have an amazing day and everything. I love each and every one of you. And guess what? We'll be back here next week, Tuesday, 1 p.m. for Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. I'll see you on next week. All right. Have a good day.